Hey coffee people, today I'm back from my 2-week-long road trip on National Coffee Day. I don't like these little social media holidays, but whatever, hey. And I've got a coffee review for you again from Case Coffee Roasters. And I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation of this name, but I'll give it a try anyway. Reko Kochere. And this is from Ethiopia, as you can see on the bag. Kochere is a district of the Yirgacheffe region. So that's a very popular growing region for coffees in Ethiopia. And we'll see how it comes out later on in this video when I break down the flavors and aromas and body, acidity, all that mumbo jumbo. But first, I'll let you look at the beans, and I've got them right here in my air escape. I'm coming down to the tail end of my supply, but I deem that this is pretty much a full city roast, medium, if you will. The aroma is what really stood out to me as one of the most complex elements of this coffee. You know, getting everything from butter to tomato soup. It was very savory in whole bean form, or I should say it is very savory in terms of the aroma. In its brewed form, you'll get a lot of floral notes, cinnamon, vanilla, brown sugar. So I wasn't picking up a lot of blueberry, which I thought was interesting and in a way refreshing, because Ethiopian coffees scream blueberry at me most of the time. And this is a fully washed coffee. So I was a little bit surprised by that, but again, pleased. In that regard, it was a pretty unique coffee from this region. So let me just tell you about kind of what I did in terms of brew methods used. I'm just looking at my notes here. So mostly across the board of what I used, everything was pretty good. The one bad result I had was with my auto drip, my Brazen Plus, and I got this kind of weird channeling effect. I used the same ratio that I was using for my other brew methods of about 18:1, but for some reason the coffee was under extracted with my Brazen. So that was the one bad result, but Kalita Wave, Chemex, V60, and Espresso, wow. I'll tell you, that was the one that pleased me the most. I pulled only 2 shots with it, but I didn't even have to dial in my grinder. So really no coffee wasted aside from purging my grinder. And it was just major fruit bomb. Pretty balanced. This is the one thing I would say kind of that makes this coffee different from other Ethiopian coffees and how balanced it was. There was plenty of chocolate to go along with the major fruit. And I pulled a shot at around 40 seconds, 30-gram yield, at about 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and that was my best shot. Shorter extraction time of around 36 seconds for the first shot was fruitier, but more balance in the second shot when I pulled it at that longer extraction time. So this is actually, oh, that could have been bad. This is actually a really good option if you're into fruity but also chocolatey, and I know those are the major kind of flavor notes that I at least pick up on in coffees, but those are both prevalent in the espresso shots. Now let's talk about the pour over, AeroPress, etc. And I do have complete notes on that in the post if you click the link below, but I'll just go over that real quick. So on the bag, you'll see that they have peach, floral, complex. So it's not very specific beyond that, but I unfortunately, when I picked up this bag, and I said this in the post, I was paying attention to the flavor notes that they had written on there, and I wish I hadn't, because I like going into my tastings blind. So I went down this peach road, if you will, and on my first brew with the AeroPress, I did pick up that peach, and I want to believe that I actually tasted it, but who knows. I definitely believe that I could have been expecting it, and for that reason, that's why I said I tasted it. But in addition to the peach, I got lavender, smoke, orange. So at least I was able to pinpoint what flower or what floral aromas I was picking up, I think. And I did standard and inverted. Can't really tell you that there were any major differences between those two methods. Although I know some people would argue, oh, well, inverted is the best way to go. So there was definitely better results from that. I'm not going to tell you that, because I think it's kind of one of those little things to focus on in the grander scheme of things. Anyways, I digress. So that was AeroPress, the first thing I brewed with, and Kalita Wave is the only other one I really took detailed notes on. It was smokier, toastier. I did brew at a higher temperature with the Kalita Wave, so that definitely had an impact on things. AeroPress I did around 200, Kalita Wave 208. It was my starting temperature. So the acidity was a little bit less pronounced, but not by much. And then body was taken up with the Kalita Wave. So again, could have been the brew temperature, could have even been the grind. I mean, with the Kalita Wave, I'm using a much coarser grind than I am with the AeroPress. Actually, though, I did use a very similar grind the first time I brewed with the AeroPress. So I don't think that was really a big determining factor of how they were different in that sense. So overall, who is this coffee for? Who is it not for? Well, if you like espresso, then I would definitely recommend this. But I know some people don't like fruitier, acidic espressos. But if you're interested in getting into those, this might be a good transition one, because it does have those chocolate elements. You just have to go for a longer extraction time, at least from what I experienced. I also think that it's great for just standard coffee. I don't know if I would mess around with this again in an auto drip. I think I had bad luck personally, but you want to be brewing with a higher temperature, in my opinion. While I did get that good fruitiness from it with the AeroPress at 200 degrees Fahrenheit, there's way more balance when you brew at a higher temperature, which I think is what gets the most out of this coffee in terms of the complexity. If you're just having all fruit without the balance of the chocolate, I think that the coffee isn't at its full potential. So again, that is the Ethiopia Reko Kochere. I really hope I pronounced that right. If not, I'm sorry. Maybe somebody can correct me and give me a link to an audio file that shows me how to say it. Speaking of which, I found a really funny clip on YouTube of somebody doing a Yirgis Chef, I don't know how to say it, pronunciation. You should go look that up, because it's, I don't know if they're mocking themselves or what. It's kind of stupid, actually. Never mind.